Wake up, Pancreas. I'm Danny.
And I'm Alex.
And welcome to episode 13 of Wake Up, Pancreas.
Yes, 13. Lucky 13 or scary 13?
Oh, might be scary 13.
I doubt it.
So last episode, we said the same thing, welcome to number 13. We might have messed up a little bit. So we ended up calling that one 12 and a half.
Yeah, 12.5.
12.5. And this is the actual scary 13.
Scary. I don't think it's anything scary. So I've been going back and forth with my brother, right? Just sharing scary stuff, all kinds of creepy stuff. And I usually show him to Danny over here. And she loves it, right?
Wrong. I hate it. I hate scary movies. I watch them for my peripheral vision or between like a tiny slit in my fingers.
It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I grew up with nothing but scary stories. So to me, it's thrilling, it's exciting, it's something that's out there, almost mystery, right? What about for you?
No, I don't like scary movies at all. I think I like the storyline, and I'm like, oh, I want to watch that too because everyone's watching it. But deep down, I'm like, I do not like it. Like, I am scared for my life that it is going to haunt me and it is going to eat me while I sleep. And I am a 30-some-year-old woman, and I still think that.
You know what's the funny part? It's not something that just happens. Sometimes it just happened a couple seconds ago with Alexa, right? We're just talking here, and you'll mention something, and somehow it picks up your voice, and all of a sudden it speaks. It's in the corner somewhere, and you're like, what was that?
The creepiest is listening to Alexa whisper back at you because you talked low, and she'll say, hello. Yeah. You're like, what the heck is happening?
You know, I actually had it happen to me once when I whispered to it, hey, turn off the TV, and I whispered it really softly, and it says, yes, I'm turning off the TV. And I thought someone broke in the house. I got up real quick. My fists were up in the air. I thought I was being attacked.
Do you remember that time? So several years ago, like when Harry Potter wanted to break out.
How is Harry Potter going to be the scary movie?
Well, listen, he started it. Was it called The Woman in Black?
Yes, The Woman in Black.
And we saw it in movie theaters.
Yes,
and no lie, it had to be like the second or third scene. That is the scariest movie out there. It was the only time in movie theaters that I literally got out of my seat and said, hell no, I'm going. I'm done. I'm out of here. Like, I made a scene in the movie theater.
Oh, man, I do remember. And then I told you, sit down. We paid for these tickets.
You want to tell them about the things that you're watching with your brother, these little short films?
So I watch the little short films, and he usually sends me, and we try to scare each other. And I know he's usually up like around 10, so that's when he'll send his super early, and I'll send sometimes mine super early. But if he sends me one at 10, I'll send one super creepy at 10, like Ghost and something like that. And it usually just to scare him, but that's about it. And I usually end up showing you the film, right? Because you got to wake up super early.
Terrifying. Last night, he showed me Latinos Against Scary Shit.
Yep.
And it was literally like this married couple taking a picture in front of their house, and you see this creepy thing with these bright eyes jump out. And out of all the stuff he showed me multiple. That's the one that stuck in my head. I'm talking, I woke up today at 4 a.m., well, 3 something to leave at 4 a.m. to work. And as I'm walking down the steps, I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm like, do I see scary eyes? Danny, don't look. It might be there. Don't look, Danny. You'll be okay. Just turn on the lights. Make your way out of the house. Just breathe. Breathe through it.
Here's my question for you. What if you would have seen it in the house, right? You telling me we would have just left? Time to go.
No, if I had seen it, I would have screamed. I would have fought like hell, and I would have died. And I know I would have died. I have this like panic inside. So I walk down the steps, walk into the kitchen, flip on the light, get my protein ready. Then I go to the laundry room, flip on that light before I turn off the next light. And I keep doing that until I get to the garage, turn on one light, then turn off. The scariest thing, I don't know why the garage freaks me out.
It's a garage.
But there must have been a scary movie back in the day that someone was in their garage and there was something on the other side of the car and they came a guy. Was it Jason?
The only thing I could think about was Scream when the guy's trying to crawl into that space.
That too. Maybe it got me. But that's supposed to be a funny one. But I'm saying, I went in, I needed a bottle of water. Okay. And they're on the other side of the car. And I look and I'm like, okay, all right, you're going to walk around this car. You can't see behind it, but there's nothing there. Just take a breath. You'll be okay. And then it wasn't until I got in my car that I was like, oh shit, I didn't check the back seat.
What is going on? So this entire time, this creature in your imagination, right, is following you down the steps, right, to the garage, and it's waiting for you to make a mistake of what? Make eye contact?
I think so, and that's when I see it. But I even thought, like, as I closed the bedroom door today, the walk down the hall, I looked straight at the top of the steps. I'm like, if it was there, what would I do? I'd scream, Alex, get your gun! Kids, stay in the rooms!
What? It's a ghost. What am I going to do?
I don't know. It's gonna keep people safe, and then I'll just take one for the team because I'm dead anyway. It already saw me and made eye contact with me.
Oh my god. Oh jeez.
Yeah, scary shit. Just to put it out there. And then what did you just show us? This scary show. It was like 5 minutes long of you got to act like it's not.
It's a short movie. It wasn't anything big, but it was a short movie. My brother usually sends me this short movie, and I don't remember what it's called. Oh, it's called Ignore It, a short horror movie, right? And he sent me it from, I think, from YouTube or so. But it's a family single living in a house or something. They're being haunted by this creature that lives in the basement, and obviously it leaves a lot of room for imagination, but it's pretty creepy. It's called, once again, Ignore It, short horror movie.
Yeah, and it was terrifying. Well, I shouldn't say not too terrifying, because I watched from my peripheral vision. As I stared Alex straight in the eyes, I saw some things move, but I got through it. And then, did we hear Alexa start saying something? I was like, I can't turn around. It might be behind me, babe. Do you see it?
So I gotta make eye contact with it? What is...
So he would have been the one to see it. He would have died. I would have survived here. Yeah. That's the most important piece right now.
Taking one for the team, yes.
Yes, absolutely. I took one this morning. You have to take one now.
Oh, man.
So Marcel has this, like, thing that she likes to do. She loves to scare her brother.
Yeah, she does.
So, bless his heart. He sure likes to act like he scares people. He just jumps out and goes, Bill, got you. Yeah. But this girl, on the other hand...
Well, it also has to do with her mom teaching her. What did you teach her? That creepy
this
song?
Is what I taught her. She walks up the stairs and slowly goes, 1, 2... buckle my shoe. And she goes it real slow, then stomps her feet. And then when she gets to the top, how does it go? Buckle my shoe.
3, 4.
3, 4.
Lock your door.
Shut the door.
Okay.
5, 6. Pick up sticks. 7, 8. And then she uses like this big voice. She goes, don't be late. And she'll run down the hallway at him. And she literally makes her brother cry because she like terrifies him.
First of all, he yells because he doesn't know what's going on. Like, what the? I can tell you if that happened to me, that little girl, I'll probably not knowing, swing. Ah!
She's like the little girl from The Ring with her long hair over her face. You can't see her eyes. And she just like, I'm coming to get you. Like mixture of like The Ring chick and Chucky all in one. Like, I'm going to get you.
Oh, man.
So our house is definitely, I'd say, adventurous when it comes to scary stuff.
Adventurous? I don't think we watch that many scary movies. I show you short films and Instagram stuff that I share back and forth with my brother, and that's about it.
I think our family's just scared of life. We're just scared in general. I mean, I still have to sleep with my closets closed. Okay. And little Alex is the same thing. He's like, Mom, please make sure my closet's closed before you leave. Mm-hmm. Because what if something lives in there?
Well, check first.
Well, I do, but during the day it's not there. But at night it might be.
At nighttime it decides to move in?
I'm just saying.
That makes no sense. Why haven't you check before you go to sleep? Check
because
everything.
What if it gets me?
Well, that's why you check.
That's why I check when the lights are on.
I don't know. Still, though. On a different note, so we've been dealing with a sick kid, right?
Yeah, so Marcel's been pretty sick recently, and it's all because she got her vaccines.
Yes.
So we're not anti-vaxxers, don't get us wrong, but when you have a child with diabetes, they have an overblown immune response. Mm-hmm. So she was running like 103 fever on and off for, I would say, about 5 days.
Yes.
And we've just been blessed that she hasn't gotten very sick since she's been diagnosed in the last 2.5 years, and it's because she wasn't in daycare.
That's true. She was in daycare, and also it's something we talked about. Maybe we should expand her shots. You know what I mean? Maybe because they gave her a total of 4 shots, and that's a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe just give her 2 at a time here, come back for the other 2, and maybe that would help next time instead of just giving the full dose. Like, here you go.
Yeah, and I mean, and the doctor said maybe she just came in contact with someone sick, but it happened within hours of the shots, which leads me down the road of it's because of how many vaccines she got at one time. Yeah. But Typically, when you have a sick child with type 1 diabetes, they say, well, check their ketone levels and check their glucose frequently, and then give them juice or whatever you need to if they're not willing to eat. We haven't had to do that, but I was like, you know what? She's sick. Let's check ketones.
Yeah.
And the first day, she was at like 0.9. So typically, the doctor says if she's at 1, call the doctor, and the doctor will tell us what to do. And I was like, well, she's 0.9. We know, give lots of water, and it'll help kind of flush those ketones out. But several days in, I was like, she looks really tired this morning. And when I checked, it said 4.5. And I was like, what?
It's ketones, right?
Yeah, the ketones. And remember, 1 is when we call the doctor because it's high.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, no way. So I checked it 2 more times, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're going to the hospital, like something's seriously wrong. And to be honest, even as a nurse, I'm not comfortable with ketones because I just don't know them. I can tell you what's high. I can tell you what a ketone is and why it's there and how to get rid of it.
Exactly.
But I don't work with them enough to tell you where the high range starts and where the you're going to die range starts.
I got it.
And so I called the doctor, and I think she heard the panic in my voice, and I kind of said what the number was. She goes, okay. She's like, how does she look? And I'm like, well, she looks like herself. She's tired. She goes, so what you need to do is you need to get her to take more insulin. Problem is, her sugar was only 107.
Yes, it was 107, finally in the hundreds.
Yes, so like almost at that magical number, she didn't want to eat. So if she wasn't willing to eat or drink anything, the next step would have been to go to the ER because they have to give her an IV with sugar in it in order to give her an insulin drip and kind of find that balance in order to get the ketones out. But luckily, she wouldn't eat, actually. She would not eat.
No, she wasn't eating.
She was only taking 1 or 2 bites, and I'm like, what the heck?
So we gave her apple juice, right?
Yep,
apple
we just kept giving her
juice
juice for like 3 days.
9 carbs, and then we finally got some more Gatorade just in case, right?
Yeah. And then she had an upset stomach, well, because she doesn't typically do that, and all she drank was juice for 3 days. So all that sugar is going to upset your stomach. So it's like finding that balance. But I think today, 5 or 6 days later, she's finally fever-free, and we are in that, okay, we can breathe range. But it was definitely, it was scary.
It was definitely scary.
The doctor called back that afternoon, and she kind of explained to me, so this is what you do. You only have to go to the ER if this happens. You can handle this at home unless you don't feel safe. And she's like, I don't know how to put it in any other way. She's like, but think about it like your glucose. It's high. You know it's high. Yeah. But how does she look? You handle high glucose, so think about the ketones. She goes, she was very high, but she wasn't on death's doorstep. She used those words. I know there's probably a better way to say that, but she wasn't literally on her way out because we were able to get her ketones down.
Yes, and by the way, she was running around. She has the sniffle. She had a fever at the same time. We're treating the fever with Tylenol, right?
Tylenol, yeah.
So she was at the most of 100.4 or something like that?
I think 103.
103, something like that. But she was taking naps, but we put a little bit of ice in her head. She's starting to get headaches and stuff like that, but she was doing good. Yeah. The fever would go down, then she would start moving. And this is all within that ketone range where we were trying to get her ketones down. But you told me something that was interesting, especially when it comes to ketones. You said that because of the ketones, we want to limit how much she actually plays around, right?
Yes. So when you have ketones, your body's burning fat because the sugar can't get into the cells. That's why she needs more insulin. And it has to do with the immune response and the cells being sensitive to the insulin. Because remember, insulin's the key to the cell to bring that sugar in. Mm-hmm. And if the sugar can't get into those cells, your body's burning fat. Well, when you're up and you're moving and you're running, you're burning something, right? You're burning that energy. Well, she can't use the glucose. She's burning more fat, which increases her ketones. So until those ketones are out of her body, we have to kind of limit the activity.
Correct. That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're still learning sick days. Sick days are not in our toolkit yet because we're still figuring it out.
This is something with school coming up and also with jiu-jitsu coming up, right? And this is something, especially tournaments. Think about tournament-wise. Because she's going to be almost on her own, let's say, if she goes to a tournament. We haven't even been on a tournament ourselves when it comes to small children, right? We got our first tournament coming up with jiu-jitsu with Alex. He signed up for gi, no gi. We don't know what's going to happen. We're cheering 100%, right? He says he's going to go chainsaw mode that day. I have no clue, but we'll see it. We'll see. He's improving.
He's done great. But as she becomes more competitive in sports, too, we're definitely going to have to look at that stuff more.
Yeah,
we have been.
Exactly. We have to be more on top of it because of it.
Yeah. So that's it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for Wake Up Pancreas.